Honourable House Leader for the New Democratic Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Premier. Research shows that companies run by a diverse board of directors, including those with at least 30% women directors, deliver better results for shareholders. However, less than 20% of the companies that have received government investment through the Crown Corporation and Novacor have any women on their boards, and 0 meet the minimum industry standard of 30% women directors. Will the Premier explain why his government has exclusively invested in companies that fail to meet even these minimal targets for the participation of women in the boardroom?
The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the Honourable Member for this really important question. I'm proud of the work that we've been doing inside of government. She would know and recognize that we now finally have gender parity on the provincial and family court bench in this province. Not only gender, Mr. Speaker, it's the most diverse bench this province has ever had. When we came into power, the ABCs that her party had actually an opportunity to correct had 23% of women. We are now over 40% of our appointments are women because we made a direct effort. I believe she's referencing an article that was talking about a Novacor, Mr. Speaker. In some cases, there are no boards. A Novacor is a investor in a particular entrepreneur, or if there is a board, a Novacor is one of many investors who gets to appoint one board member, as every other investor gets to appoint board members, Mr. Speaker. And she would know a Novacor is an arm's length body from the province, but we'll continue to do and make the improvements that ensure that our daughters see themselves in boardrooms. And the boards that we have direct access to, Mr. Speaker, we're doing just that.
The Honourable Leader of the New Democratic Party. House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are talking here about the boardroom, not the bench. And with respect, putting women in ABCs is one thing. Breaking the glass ceiling is what we're talking about here. In a 2018 meeting with the Maritime Chapter of the Institute of Corporate Directors, the Premier was informed of how staggeringly few women are on the boards of companies in which the government holds equity. He ardently assured the chapter that he would take action to correct this issue in 2018. What concrete measures has the Premier taken since that time to increase the number of investments in companies that meet the standard of 30% women directors?
The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, I completely disagree with the Honourable Member. I believe it's important that my daughter and women across this province see themselves on the family court bench in the province. When her party had an opportunity, they appointed 8 men, Mr. Speaker. 8 men to the provincial and family court bench. I believe it is important that our daughters and women in this province see themselves reflected on that bench, and minorities see themselves reflected on that bench. The Honourable Member is raising an important point when it comes to the private sector. We are one of a number of investors in many of the Novacorp investments, Mr. Speaker. We potentially get an opportunity to appoint one board member, as every other investor does. And I want again, Mr. Speaker, they're investing in ideas that are creating creating economic opportunities in our province, Mr. Speaker. We will continue to ensure that the boards that we have direct appointment to, Mr. Speaker, reflect the demographics of our province. And we will continue to work with the private sector to make investments, to drive job opportunities, drive job creation, and drive investments not only for our sons but for our daughters.